F-150 has been one of America's best-selling pickups for countless years, and there's very good reason for that. So today, let's go ahead and take a look at this 2011 Ford F-150 Platinum 4x4, and let's find out why. So like I said, my particular example is a 2011 Platinum 4x4 F-150. So without any further ado, we'll go ahead and start it up and let it run. Now here's the key for the truck. It's just Ford's standard blade and remote system all in one. You have your lock, unlock, panic, and remote start functions. And I'll go ahead and demonstrate the remote start. All you have to do is hit the lock button once, and then hit that twice. And as you can hear, the engine starts right up. Now coming to the door of the F-150, you have chrome-plated door handles as well as Ford's keyless entry system. And what that entails is you can basically set your own code should you lose your key or somebody needs to get something out of your truck for you. You can give them this code and the doors will unlock or lock, whichever one needs to be done. So, we'll go ahead and hop inside. Now looking at the interior on this one, it is a gray leather interior with black leather accentings on the seats there, with white contrasting stitching, which I think looks very nice and classy. And then, to power the rest of the vehicle's features on, just insert the key and twist. And as you can see, the Built Ford Tough logo pops into the center display. So, let's go ahead and turn on the automatic headlights. Fog lights are already on, as well as the hazards. And we'll go ahead and open up the hood as well. Just pull on that tab right there. And as you can see, the driver and passenger window are automatic up and down. Door sounds nice and solid when you close it. Now opening up the hood of the F-150 is very easy. All you have to do is lift up, find this tab, push it to the right, and lift. And what you're looking at is Ford's corporate 5-liter V8 engine. I'll add all the power and fuel economy specifications into the annotations right here. And this engine does share, this engine is shared with the Mustang, so that if it looks familiar, that's definitely why, but it is tuned a little differently to produce more power for trucking aspects instead of more of a sports car aspect. It's a very clean looking engine. I really like the design of it. It just is raw and uncovered, and I like that you can see the engine instead of looking at a whole lot of plastic and unnecessary stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and shut the hood. Closing the hood's very easy. Just let it down like that and it shuts. Now looking at the front of the F-150, you'll notice that it's styled a little bit differently than other pickups. This has more of a laid-back stance with a little bit of aggressiveness in there as well. Coming to the headlights, you can see you have your standard halogen reflector beam headlights, your turn signals down below, and your fog lamps are located down in the rear or in the front bumper. You have chrome-plated tow hooks on either side of the front license plate. And one way that you can distinguish that this one is a 5-liter V8 is the license plate is in the center rather than mounted on the side to allow more airflow for the EcoBoost engine and their turbochargers. This one is in white platinum metallic. A very nice looking color on the F-150. It brightens it up a little bit and makes it stand out from the crowd. You can see you have your chrome-plated platinum F-150 badge there. Chrome-plated mirror backings. And then you have LED turn signals on the mirrors right there. And then you have a little blind spot or fisheye mirror right here to help you just see if anything's in your blind spot. But one thing that kind of confuses me is why they didn't add one on the passenger side mirror. But that's probably gonna come with the next generation F-150 or blind spot warning, so not really having to worry about that. Like I said, chrome plated door handles, and it also does have power step rails. You just have to open the door, and then once you shut it, the step rails fold back up underneath the truck and tuck away nicely. Here's your fuel filler lid. It does have Ford's capless fuel filler system, or easy fuel as they call it. And basically what that entails is this rubber gasket right here seals around the fuel filler door, making no need for a unscrewable gas cap, which makes getting gas a whole lot easier and less annoying. Now looking at the wheels on this one, we have 275/55 R20 rims wrapped in these Pirelli Scorpion ATR tires. Not really my favorite tires, if I'm honest. This is a loaner while my dad's truck is in, and his has these tires, but his truck has about 37,000 miles on it. And these tires, once they start to wear, are a nightmare in the rain. We've hydroplaned several times, and it's just really scary. As you can see, this one is four-wheel drive. It has a charcoal gray 4x4 badge on it, and I think that looks excellent on the white. I'm glad they definitely chose to go with the, I'm definitely glad they chose to go with the gray 4x4 badge. Now coming to the back of the truck, you have your standard reflector beam taillights, and your reverse lamps are located there in the middle. Now, a signature touch of the Platinum trucks is this silver painted trim that goes across the rear tailgate, and I actually really like it. Some people do, some people don't, but I think it looks great, and it adds a nice classy look to the F-150. As you can see, F-150 badge there. Your reverse backup camera is located underneath the Ford logo, and then your Platinum badge and Flex Fuel badge there. This is another way to distinguish that this one is indeed a 5-liter V8 or a 6.2 liter, but the 6.2 liter is not in this one. Now opening up the tailgate, it does not have a self-lowering system to keep it from slamming or anything like that. So that this generation F-150 is starting to show its age, but it's still a very good truck. And it does have the fold-down step rail, and you can also raise this handle too to make getting in and out of the truck bed a lot easier than just climbing up onto the tailgate. Chevrolet's solution with the 2014 Chevrolet Silverado and the GMC Sierra was little step rails incorporated into the corners of the bumper, which I like this solution better. It makes the truck look more traditional, and I don't really like the steps in the rear bumper, but to each his own on that one. That's just my personal opinion. You can see you have your trailer receiver hitch there, your trailer lighting hookup, and you also have 4 reverse parking sensors going across the back bumper. Here's your exhaust tip. It is chrome plated and produces a very nice sound, if I do say so myself. I think these 5-liter engines sound pretty good, as you will have seen in the exhaust clip. Now looking at the rear suspension on this one, it is a solid rear axle with leaf springs. So it is a little bit of a bouncy ride if the truck's not loaded down, but that's to be expected with any truck with a solid axle and leaf springs. And you do have a chrome accented piece running down the lower portion of the doors and the sides, which I think is really nice. And like I said, chrome plated mirrors. So let's go ahead and check out the interior. I actually really like this truck. I love the way it looks, drives very well. We'll go ahead and cut off the headlights and turn off the hazards. Go ahead and roll up the window. It is automatic up, like I said. Now coming to the door panel, the materials on the top of the door panel are a harder material, but they're actually pretty solid. They don't really sound very hollow, and they're not flimsy at all. Like, I can't bend this no matter how hard I try. Here's your power mirror controls, and you do have power folding mirrors, as you can see. You just pull in on this right here, and the mirrors will fold in or out. You have a dark wood trim right here. I believe this is faux wood. Chrome plated door handle and more of your wood trim there. Leather stitched armrests, or I believe this might be vinyl, but either way it's still very comfy to rest your elbow on. And this is only available, I believe, on the Platinum and Limited trims. Every other trim of the F-150 just has like a material that looks like this, but it's squishy right here. Here's your door handle right here. There's your integrated door speaker for your Sony 700 watt stereo, which packs a huge punch. You have a cup holder there and a ton of storage in the door there. These doors are actually huge. Now coming to the top of the dash, the materials are all hard to the touch, but still sounds very solid and doesn't really sound hollow or chintzy or flimsy. Now this is a little kind of niggle that I have with the truck. I don't really like how you can just pick this up They did it to make it look like stitched leather, but it's just vinyl and it stretches and moves around. Not that anybody ever messes with that, but that's just something that's a little bit annoying. Coming to the gauge cluster, you can see you have your center display right here. Beautiful gauge set. I love the color and the contrast of the gauges on these trucks. They're very good looking. Here's your headlight controls, like I said before. Pull out for fogs, panel dim. Here's your wiper and turn signal controls. Wipers work just like that. One of my main gripes with this particular truck is this brow line right here. I absolutely cannot stand it. It takes away from the visibility and it's just really annoying. But it does keep the cabin a little bit darker, so I guess living in the Texas heat, that would be nice during the summer, but I still wouldn't have this. As at least not one that comes down this low, maybe one that's like right there or something. But this is just, I really don't like this. Your automatic dimming rear view mirror, and it does have an integrated reverse backup camera. You can see the backup camera shows once the truck is put into reverse. And it does have parking sensors as well. Now coming up, here's your power sunroof controls, tilt, sliding, and here's your control for your power sliding rear glass. Oops, that was the sunroof. You can see that works just like that. Instead of having to unclip it and manually do it, it just is electrically assisted. Here's your sun visor, mirror and vanity light for the driver and passenger. Home link controls, sunglasses storage area, interior lighting. Bays the cabin pretty nicely. It does a good job. Like I said, mirror and vanity light for the passenger side as well. Headliner is a really nice material. Everything's very plush. It's very truck-like and durable, but it's not cheap feeling at all. It doesn't feel like a generic paper towel. Now here is a little bit of an interesting area on this particular Platinum. This one does not have the navigation package. So you're left with this dot matrix display up here. I believe that's what they're called. I don't know. If I'm wrong, correct me. And you have your temperature, your exterior temperature, your compass, and then your stereo right here. This will display your stereo, and it does have a really good stereo in it, but I won't be able to demonstrate that due to YouTube copyright issues. And I feel like I should take a second to explain why, since I've gotten a lot of hate comments. Since my videos are monetized, I'm not allowed to play music clips that have been published and are copyrighted. So I've gotten a couple of my videos flagged and the monetization has had to be turned off on those, and I really don't want that to happen again, so I can't demonstrate the stereo. So for those of you who have given me hate comments and crap for that, now you know why. But this is the head unit here. It's actually pretty easy to use. It works well with the sync voice control. You have your 6 CD drive right here, 9 presets for your stereo or your radio, traction control off, hazards, passenger airbag sensor there, the volume and your tuning switch here, and here's your climate controls. Works very well. Different zones, defrost, your AC, recirculate, auto. I can't stand automatic climate control. I would absolutely never use that. And then maximum AC, which is really nice in the summer. Here's your temperature controls. It is dual zone, heated, as well as cooled seats. I really like the cooled seats. They're a really nice feature. Now here's your USB and aux input with your sync system badge right down here. You can see I have my iPod plugged in right here. And these two buttons right here are to adjust your ambient lighting for night, to adjust the color of the light that bays the cup holders, the footwells, and might be in the door handles. I'm not 100% positive. Here you have a 12-volt power outlet. You can see this one's a non-smoker. Thankfully, I can't stand cigarettes. They're just disgusting. Here's your shifter right here for your 6-speed automatic transmission, and it does have a manual shiftability by this switch right here, which I guess you could use that if you were maybe going down a mountain pass or something like that, but it's not really good for sporting purposes because the transmission just gets a little bit lazy and confused. 2 cup holders right here. This one does have a an ashtray in it, but it's just mainly used for coin storage. Is that all that I would ever use that for? Chrome rings around the cup holders, more of the faux wood trim. Coming to the center armrest, it is padded and wrapped in leather. It is lockable as well. Just stick the key in this hole here and you can lock it. Opening up reveals a cavernous storage area. You can see this can actually be used as a filing cabinet. These two, this tab here and this little ridge on the back, you can see it right there. You can hook file folders to that, so that's a pretty nice feature. And then you have some assorted holders like for pens, cell phone, iPod, whatever. Center console is very sure-footed. The lid is a little flimsy, forwards and backwards, but you can't wiggle it side to side no matter how hard you try. Coming to the materials over here, this is a harder portion and it is a little flimsy, but it's not terrible and it still sounds solid. It just covers up the airbag, so it has to be a little flimsy in case of a front-end collision. You have a 12-volt power outlet right here, a little storage area. I did forget to mention the 4-wheel drive switch is there. Your trailer brakes are located right here. That's how you adjust your gain, and this is to activate them. Trailer disconnected, obviously. Coming to the glove box, it is a tiny glove box. This is one of the biggest downfalls with this generation F-150. You might do well to get an iPad mini in there, but you definitely couldn't get a regular size iPad, or much less maybe a MacBook Air or anything. So that really pretty much wraps up the front seat. So we'll go ahead and check out the back seating area, which is absolutely cavernous. Opening up the back doors, you can see that the seats do fold up just like this, and that reveals a flat load floor where you could put boxes or slide something in there. Whatever you wanted to do with this, you could definitely arrange it to fit in here. And then to fold the seat down, just pull on this and the seat folds just like so. Again, gray leather, perforated, black accenting. Now, getting into the back seat is really easy to do, and then once you are in the back seat, you have more than enough storage room. That's where I'd have the seat to drive, and I'm about 5'11", and you can see my feet have plenty of room to stretch out. But one of the big downfalls with this generation F-150 is the back seat itself. It's rather uncomfortable. You can see thigh support is a little bit lacking. The seat sits straight up against the back wall of the truck, and there's hardly any recline. And the seats are actually pretty hard too. They're not very comfortable seats by any stretch of the imagination. But coming to the center armrest, you can see it folds down just like so. It was stuck there. Goodness. And you do have pop-out cup holders right there. The center armrest is perforated, by the way. 2 large cup holders right here. Air vents, 150 watt or 110 volt power outlet. That's just for your standard household items. It is a 3-prong. Here is your 12 volt power outlet, for which the cover has broken off, sadly. Dual map pockets, one on each side. Now coming to the door, materials are the same on top, same here, but this is a hard piece right here, which I really don't like. I think this should have been padded as well, because the back passengers, you know, they like to rest their arms here too. You have your power windows right here, and then you do have dual stage heated seats in the back, so that's a very nice feature as well. So that really pretty much wraps it up. So let's go ahead and take this one on a test drive. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can hear, engine's very quiet upon startup, has the traditional Ford starter hiccup sound. Go ahead and get a little bit of air conditioning going here. There we go. Now, one of the very first things that you'll notice when you get into the F-150 is how tall the truck is. This truck sits up considerably higher than the other competitors in the full-size pickup truck market. And as you can hear, the 5-liter V8 produces a pretty nice little growl. And this engine is shared with the Mustang, so you know it's gonna be able to produce an even meaner sound should you choose to go with an aftermarket exhaust or anything. But honestly, I don't think I would do that, especially on a platinum trimmed truck, because it just doesn't seem, it doesn't really fit the truck's character and personality. But since we're going through a little bit of a curvy bit, I'll go ahead and talk about the handling, and it really doesn't handle all that bad for such a large vehicle. There is an initial push from the front end, but then once you get the truck turning, it follows around pretty nicely. Body roll is There is some, but for a truck that weighs as much as this does, it's kept to a minimum, honestly, and that's not something that can be said for the competition that I've driven. So it's a pretty athletic little truck, or not a little truck at all. What am I talking about? It's a very capable truck, on and off road. Great highway cruisers. We drove our 2011 EcoBoost Platinum 9.5 hours all the way to Orange Beach, Alabama over the summer, and it was very comfortable except for the back seats. They sucked, and returned pretty decent fuel economy. This one in town says it's averaging about 12 to 12.5 miles to the gallon, which is to be expected for a vehicle this large. I mean, you can't really expect to get great fuel economy in town with something this big. It doesn't happen. Go ahead and do a little acceleration run. And that was a run to 60 at wide open throttle, and this truck has a lot of power. And then when you consider the engine only displaces 5 liters, it's even more amazing because it's just so powerful in such a large truck, and the engine displaces such a small amount relatively. I mean, in General Motors trucks you have the 5.3 liter V8, the 6.2 liter V8. For Dodge's trucks, or Ram, whatever the heck they are now, you can get a 4.7 liter V8 or a 5.7 liter V8. So I think this one fits perfectly between the balance of fuel economy, sound. Sound is a big one for me, and I'll go over that in just a second. And then delivering power. It's perfectly matched to the weight and size of the truck. The 6-speed automatic handles power runs very well. It doesn't really try to seek out top gear very much. Until you get out on the highway and you're not really having your foot in it, it definitely is hesitant to downshift. And I'll do one more acceleration run. And that was a run to about 55, and this thing just pulls all the way through the rev band. I'm beyond impressed with this engine, and honestly, I would buy this over the EcoBoost engine after driving it because I'm a purist and I really like the sound of a pure, naturally aspirated V8. And this one definitely delivers on that sound, and that's just something the EcoBoost you can't get from. Now, I'm not saying that the EcoBoost is a terrible engine. It's really not. It's a fantastic engine, and if you're not looking for the raw, burly sound of a V8, EcoBoost all the way. It is an incredible engine, and 420 pound-feet of torque. I mean, who can argue with that coming from a 3.5 liter V6? I mean, honestly, that's just incredible. But for me, I would buy the 5 liter just because I like the sound of a V8 better than a V6. The EcoBoost is pretty quiet and kind of makes a muffled sound. And that's thanks to the turbochargers. That's just what turbocharged engines do. But the driving dynamics of this truck are very good. Ride quality is not bad. Now, it is a little bouncy in the back end, of course, because it has a solid axle and leaf springs. But it's not terrible. I think it's perfectly matched. I mean, when you load the truck bed down, the ride quality is butter smooth, and it's really, really good. This truck debuted for the 2009 model year, and it's definitely starting to show its age, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I said when I toured the Nissan Titan, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this truck's there's nothing wrong with it. The interior is a little bit lacking on the materials. Chevrolet has definitely upped their ante on the interior aspect of the trucks, but this one, it's solid, it's functional, it's comfortable, it's quiet, and those are the things that truck buyers look for. And those are the things that I look for if I were to be in the truck market. The stereo kicks butt. It's incredible. The engine is amazing. And it's just an all-around good truck. So if you're in the market for a full-size truck, don't sell yourself short, and definitely check out the F-150 because it is a force to be reckoned with. But anyways, that really pretty much wraps up our tour and test drive of this 2011 Ford F-150 Platinum 4x4. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.